Showcasing what I was talking about, getting the car ready to take it to Rockingham next month. Now, I usually keep a list, a notebook here of everything I want to do with the car. So this is my honey-do list, my faults list, anything I want to do with the car to keep it, anything I want to do to keep it in tip-top shape, or any issues I come across, I write them down on here. That way I don't forget about them and I can just scratch them off whenever I get them done. So I'll kind of run you through this list real quick. Greasing hubs, bearings, everything like that. Some of those I can show you. It has how control arms. You see the little grease points up there. So greasing all of those, both sides of the car, using Mobil 1 synthetic grease. Putting it in there just till I see some of the old grease coming out, replacing that with new grease. Some other points underneath the car, drive shaft, anything like that. Just checking the whole car for grease points. Like I said, it's only a month old to me, so still finding things, but as I come across them, greasing them. Check the rear gear teeth. Wanted to see what kind. This car has a Tiger quick change rear gear, so I wanted to see what kind of gearing I had back there. There's the rear end, you can see Tiger quick change. Take all those bolts off. Some of the fluid will drain out. You'll see your two gear sets. I did that a while ago. Took a picture of it. I'll put it on there. There's the differential, as you can see. This car was plumbed for a differential cooler, but not anymore. Those are the AN fittings for it. But Tiger has on their website a sheet here you can check your gearing depending on your rack and pinion. Excuse me, ring and pinion. You can see your gear in there. So this has a 2129 gear set in it. You can change those out. Anybody familiar with the quick change rear gear will know that. Checking fluids, oil. That was kind of one of the things I noticed. The oil reservoir on this car is back there. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. Back there behind the passenger side rear tire. Pull you back out. Kind of hard to get to. Measure the quantity in it by sticking a measuring tape or something down in there to see how much oil is in there. Should be about 7-8 inches from the top. Really hard to get to. So one of the things I noticed, or I was going to do, and I put it on my list here, is cut out an area to check the oil. So if you go in the car, I'm going to measure it out and cut up probably a square here, rivet a hinge to it and a latch. You'll just be able to pop that, take the top off the oil, and check it a little easier instead of trying to take the tire off and snake something down in there to check that level. Coolant, it's right here. When I add distilled water to it, here's your blow off. If it gets too hot, too much pressure, it'll vent it out there. Put this back on. And that'll actually vent out right here by the windshield. That way, one, you can see it, and two, it's not going to put that water underneath your tire and reduce some of your traction there. Power steering, like I said earlier, has a turn 1 power steering. Put some red line in there, added just a little bit. It's really simple. Check your fluid level on there. Trans has that Jericho. Car's not up off the ground anymore, but it has a fill bolt and a drain bolt. Really simple. Take the fill bolt out and you can check the level from there on the side of the transmission. Just kind of hard to get to up underneath the car. Sits really low to the ground. Got some of the weight taken off back there just so I could show you the rear end, but the tire is still on the ground. You can see how low it sits. And the rear end. Clean the windshield. You'll notice that one's not checked off yet. This is plastic, not glass, so you can't put regular glass cleaner on it. I got some 5-star glass cleaner or plastic cleaner, windshield cleaner from the company that makes this. It's in the trailer. I'll show you that one. Go down there. Check all the brake pads and rotors. Fairly simple. You know, take your wheels and tires off. You can check the rotors. They got a little bit of cracking in. That's normal from the heat. When the cracks get towards the edge of the rotor, that's when you want to replace them. Don't want to have any failures. They've got tons of pads. Not worried about pads on that. Rivet the front grille. Before I got it, this grill here, air intake, goes down here, comes up on top of the motor. This rivet here had come off, so I just wanted to put a new rivet in there and hold that on. Pretty easy. Nut and bolt the car. That one's a new one to me. I mean, I always check over a car, but this is the first dedicated race car I've had. So what that means is going through and checking every fastener on the car. Every nut and bolt you come across, checking them all to make sure they're nice and tight and torque to spec. If you go underneath the car, there's several large ones on the frame. All these body panels are held on by these quick releases. Want to go through and make sure they're all on. The windshield, it's held on by these. They got clips on the back of them, but rivets on the side windows, everything has a fastener. So you want to take your time. If you'll notice, the reason I haven't checked that one off is just because there's so many. I tried to come up with a system going front to rear, top, and then work my way underneath the car when I had the car up off the ground. But if you notice, it's not checked off because I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. I'm gonna have my son or somebody go back over it behind me just to make sure nothing's loose on it. There's so many bolts on this car. Fuel in the car, I'm gonna do that a little closer to the track day so that it doesn't just sit with fuel sitting in it. I'll do that right before we leave, probably the weekend before. Then just, you know, everything. Changing trailer, front brake hubs. I had a bad hub on the trailer, so I replaced that out. Also, while they're adjusted all the brakes, just write it down. The highlighter means I did it, and then if any notes, like here I added a half quart of oil, added a small amount of coolant, anything I do, that way I can go back and check it later and just kind of see what I did. Got to tech the car. They have a checklist for HPDE, have a checklist tech inspection I got to do. Trailer tire pressures, torque the lugs, all that kind of stuff. Wash the car, I'm going to do that. It's kind of nasty outside today, if you can tell, raining. So I'm going to do that at a later day. I'll just get some soap and water and a hand towel and wash it by hand. It's a race car. It's not going to be pretty, but it can be a little cleaner. Wash this with soap and water before I use that plastic cleaner on it. Clean out the breathers. If you look, I'll see if I can't show you real quick. Up underneath the rear of the car, let's get underneath here. You have breathers up underneath there. There's some for the oil, 2 running to the oil. There's one on the far side for the differential and rear end. So those are very simple to clean out. They have a little knob on the bottom of them. You drain them out. And I think I put a note in here. Yeah, clean out breathers. The rear end breather had about a 1/4 cup worth of fluid in it. Change sponsor, I put the LMK Motorsports on the windshield and on the back. Did all that. Mount a GoPro in the car. So these are just little things I wanted to do. I have one here for the cabin, showing the driver's position. And then there's one on the side of the seat over there. I tried that one out with the GoPro 10 that I'm filming with, but it was at an angle. Didn't really like it. It was going to show the side of the seat there. So I put one on the side of the helmet and try that out and see how it works. And again, cut out the air to check the oil. So not much. And then, so this is the trailer where the car normally stays and how I haul it and get it back and forth to the track. Just a 24-foot enclosed trailer. Went ahead and opened it up to get some light in here and show y'all. Tire rack back here. Can't quite hold 4. Have it mounted to the studs, the metal studs behind here. Don't quite trust it because it came with 3-inch bolts and it can't exactly put 3-inch lag screws through the wall. It'll be on the outside of the trailer, so have it ratcheted up here to the metal on top of the trailer to give it a little extra support. So far it's held up for me. Me and the wife put some garage flooring in the trailer over top of the plywood, just kind of have the look and a little bit of durability to it. But those grippy tires, every time the car is riding on it, heats up the floor in here. There's our straps to strap it down. You got D-rings in the floor we hook it to. There's some of the lumber we used to help load it. Some spare tools or spare parts. There's a drive shaft. Got stuff everywhere in the trailer. Canopy, fuel jugs, normal stuff. Toolbox bolted to the trailer. It stays in here. It's got all the tools we need to work on everything if we need it. Generator, take with us. It powers the trailer. Also the oil heater for the car, battery charger, whatever we need it for. It runs this everything just fine. Bottom of the toolbox here, let's see, got some grease for the wheel bearings, whatever else we may need, a drill, some pads. You put those underneath the car, just kind of check for leaks, see if anything's leaking. It's got some stains on the floor, so those help me see if anything fresh is leaked. Got a winch back here we use to load and unload the car. Controllers over here on the other side. Right here. Need to finish. It was on the inside of this. Need to finish mounting it up to where just get to it right there. This hangs there right now. Got a list of spare parts we have here. That's just normal stuff. I need to order anything that helps me keep track of what it is as far as spark plugs, oil, fluids, that kind of stuff. Air filter, fuel filter, that kind of thing. Battery for the trailer's in there. That tote is full of spare parts for the car. Everything from air filters to coil packs, plugs, pulleys, belts, anything you can think of, it's in there. Here's more spare parts. I think these are front hubs, spare front hubs, and those are silencers, auger style silencers for the exhaust. They slide into the tips there. Mirror extensions for the trailer, or excuse me, for the truck when we're towing it. It's a 1500 series, so it doesn't have the big tow package. We're within our weight for towing, but not quite so much. Easy to see with this big trailer. Up here, just got some tape. That's tape we use on the car. Kind of matches the colors of it. All the fluids, oil, gear oil, brake. This is for the generator, for stable for fuel. What else we got in here? Just random fluids, grease, funnels, everything you need. Right there. Here's the old steering wheel off the car. Replace that. This here is that front air dam. I think I showed in the very first one. This screws onto the front. The screws are right there. So whenever it gets to the track, it's too low to take on and off. So whenever we get to the track, I'll put those back on. Using those. We got over here. Oh, door got me. More spare parts. Grease gun. That's window cleaner for the car. The car does not use glass. It's not glass in it, so it's plastic. You can't use glass cleaner on it, so that's what I use. It's kind of like a polish. I think got a small pump over there for gear oil, so it doesn't get on anything. And then on the door here, I just have a list of stuff, and I got a marker over here that I can use right down there. I can scratch off on here. Pre-track checks, things I want to check. You know, oil, fluids, tires, torque the wheels, clean the windshield, make sure everything's mounted, put that lower front splitter on, or that air dam, remove the fuel vent cover, check the belts, just everything I need to think of. And then my daughter painted these, so I added them to the trailer, so think of her every time I see it. But that's everything I got in the trailer. Check the oil, so not much. And then when you go to the track, there'll be a checklist, you know, setting tire pressures, everything, pulling the fuel vents. I have a checklist on the side of the door of the trailer too, just to make sure we don't forget anything. Because little things, there's so many little things in the car. I want to make sure we don't forget anything. I'm sure I am. Like I said, I've owned it for a month, so it's a growing process. Gonna learn it as I go. If you guys know the car or know anything about them, if I'm missing anything, please don't hesitate to let me know. I appreciate any help, and hope to show you some things. Thank you.